Hello, my name is John Nagoski, and I'm from Wisconsin in the USA. I would like to introduce you to my channel, English Reading with Questions and Answers. The Art of Public Speaking, 1915. About the authors. Joseph Berg Essenwein, May 16, 1867, to November 1st, 1946, was an American editor, lecturer, and writer. He was noted for contributions to the library of the world's best literature. Essenwein was born in Philadelphia to parents Augustus and Catherine Essenwein. He was educated at Albright College, Millersville Normal School, Lafayette College, Richmond College, and the University of Omaha. He was president of Albright Collegiate Institute in 1895, 1896, and in the following year held the position of educational director of the YMCA at Washington Heights, New York City. After a year of foreign travel, he became professor of English in the Pennsylvania Military College at Chester, subsequently giving up teaching in 1903 to become manager of the Book Lovers magazine. 2 years later, he was made editor and manager of Lippincott's magazine, a position which he held until 1914, while teaching a private course on short story writing. In 1915, he became editor of the Writers' Monthly, Springfield, Massachusetts. He is known both as a lecturer and writer. Dale Carnegie, November 24, 1888, to November 1, 1955, was an American writer and lecturer and a developer of courses in self-improvement, salesmanship, corporate training, public speaking, and interpersonal skills. Born into poverty on a farm in Missouri, he was the author of How to Win Friends and Influence People, 1936, a bestseller that remains popular today. He also wrote How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, 1948, Lincoln the Unknown, 1932, and several other books. Chapter 1. Acquiring Confidence Before an Audience. Students of public speaking continually ask, how can I overcome self-consciousness and the fear that paralyzes me before an audience? Did you ever notice in looking from a train window that some horses feed near the track and never even pause to look up at the thundering cars, while just ahead at the next railroad crossing, a farmer's wife will be nervously trying to quiet her scared horse as the train goes by? How would you cure a horse that is afraid of cars? Graze him in a backwoods lot where he would never see steam engines or automobiles? Or drive or pasture him where he would frequently see the machines? Apply horse sense to ridding yourself of self-consciousness and fear. Face an audience as frequently as you can, and you will soon stop shying. You can never attain freedom from stage fright by reading a treatise. Practice, practice, practice in speaking before an audience will tend to remove all fear of audiences, just as practice in swimming will lead to confidence and facility in the water. You must learn to speak by speaking. Do not be disheartened if at first you suffer from stage fright. Be absorbed by your subject. Center your interest on what you are about to say. Fill your mind with your speech material, and, like the unfilling water in the glass, it will drive out your unsubstantial fears. Have something to say. The trouble with many speakers is that they go before an audience with their minds a blank. If you go before an audience without any preparation or previous knowledge of your subject, you ought to be self-conscious. You ought to be ashamed to steal the time of your audience. Prepare yourself. Know what you are going to talk about, and in general, how you are going to say it. Have the first few sentences worked out completely so that you may not be troubled in the beginning to find words. Know your subject better than your hearers know it, and you have nothing to fear. After preparing for success, expect it. If you believe you will fail, there is no hope for you. You will. Rid yourself of this "I am a poor worm in the dust" idea. You are a god with infinite capabilities. All things are ready if the mind be so. The eagle looks the cloudless sun in the face. Assume mastery over your audience. In public speech, as in electricity, there is a positive and a negative force. Either you or your audience are going to possess the positive factor. If you assume it, you can almost always make it yours. If you assume the negative, you are sure to be negative. If your mind falters in its leadership, the sword will drop from your hands. Be courageous. It lies within you to be what you will. Make yourself be calm and confident. Concluding hence. Do not make haste to begin. Haste shows lack of control. Do not apologize. It ought not to be necessary, and if it is, it will not help. Go straight ahead. Take a deep breath, relax, and begin in a quiet conversational tone, as though you were speaking to one large friend. You will not find it half so bad as you imagine. So cast out fear, for fear is cowardly when it is not mastered. The bravest know fear, but they do not yield to it. Face your audience pluckily. If your knees quake, make them stop. In your audience lies some victory for you and the cause you represent. Go win it. The victory lies in a fearless frame of mind. Professor Walter Dill Scott says, "Success or failure in business is caused more by mental attitude even than by mental capacity. Banish the fear attitude, acquire the confident attitude, and remember that the only way to acquire it is to acquire it." Chapter 2. The Sin of Monotony. The monotonous speaker not only drones along in the same volume and pitch of tone, but uses always the same emphasis, the same speed, the same thoughts, or dispenses with thought altogether. Monotony, the cardinal and most common sin of the public speaker, is not a transgression, it is rather a sin of omission. Bird songs, forest glens, and mountains are not monotonous. Nature in her wealth gives us endless variety. Man with his limitations is often monotonous. Get back to nature in your methods of speech-making. How to conquer monotony? We obviate monotony in dress by replenishing our wardrobes. We avoid monotony in speech by multiplying our powers of speech. We multiply our powers of speech by increasing our tools. The carpenter has special implements by which to construct the several parts of a building. The organist has certain keys and stops which he manipulates to produce his harmonies and effects. In like manner, the speaker has certain instruments and tools at his command by which he builds his argument, plays on the feelings, and guides the beliefs of his audience. To give you a conception of these instruments and practical help in learning to use them are the purposes of the immediately following chapters. When you have mastered the mechanics of speech outlined in the next few chapters, you will no longer be troubled with monotony. The complete knowledge of these principles and the ability to apply them will give you great variety in your powers of expression. But they cannot be mastered and applied by thinking or reading about them. You must practice, practice, practice. If no one else will listen to you, listen to yourself. You must always be your own critic and the severest one of all. The technical principles that we lay down in the following chapters are not arbitrary creations of our own. They are all founded on the practices that good speakers and actors adopt, either naturally and unconsciously, or under instruction in getting their effects. It is useless to warn the student that he must be natural. To be natural may be to be monotonous. The little strawberry up in the Arctics with a few tiny seeds and an acid tang is a natural berry, but it is not to be compared with the improved variety that we enjoy here. The dwarfed oak on the rocky hillside is natural, but a poor thing compared with the beautiful tree found in the rich, moist bottom lands. Be natural, but improve your natural gifts until you have approached the ideal, for we must strive after idealized nature in fruit, tree, and speech. Chapter 3. Efficiency through emphasis and subordination.